The first death that I've encountered as a nursing student, she was an older lady, and she's always very poised. And I remember one day after my break, and I went back to the ward, and then I was notified that she had passed away. We told her that we are still washing your face, we are combing your hair, we put the rollers in for her, and also we did makeup for her as well, even, she had already died. That was sad for me because I felt that I didn't see my grandmother had that. So I hope that I could do that. And now even I'm in my in a teaching role, I hope that I could pass that on and really impact on to tell my students that what you do matters. Little things matter. I'm Joanna Tham. I'm currently working as an assistant professor at Kanghu Nursing College of Macau. I was born in Macau, very local, but I went to the UK for my further education in nursing because of my grandmother and her experience, or our experience of witnessing her death in Macau. That kind of inspired me or motivated me to ask questions regarding whether people, when they're coming to the end of their lives, do they all suffer? Or must they all suffer before their death? So I had this question inside me, and then when I went to the UK for my nursing undergraduate education, then I encountered palliative care, which is a specific area, so to say, to really care for people who are living with a terminal condition and also end of life. I got a call when I was back in the UK, and then my mother told me that the test come back with cancer. So he had NPC, nasopharyngeal cancer, but it's very early stages. So I was like, okay. And then I think long and hard, because after I graduated, I got a new job down in London, but I made a decision of moving back to Macau because this is what I do. And it doesn't make sense if I don't come back here and look after my father. So I come back. That's why I came back to Macau. At the beginning, because of my father's disease progression, and I have to accompany him to go to doctor's appointment, this and that. So I didn't go back to clinical practice for the first couple of years. And then I got a postdoctorate scholarship for doing postdoctoral research in this institution. So I decided to transit into academia. So that's my story. And then at the same time, I can be with my father and look after him.
So more senior advanced, any other words?
I think being an educator is challenging in itself. So I think one of the really challenges is how to teach compassion and empathy. They never experience death. They never experience even not parents' illness. So how can they understand people's suffering when they're in a clinical environment? We sometimes do community outreach with some of the students. So I think for the older adults in Macau, particularly those living in the community, loneliness is an issue, a big issue for them. They feel alone, not just physically, but emotionally. I think by bringing the two groups together, it really helps because they can then feel more connection with other people, not just their family, but younger generation, and then the younger generation then learn something from the older adults. I was in the UK for over 15 years. And after I moved back, I have experienced a new working environment, a new type of work challenge. And I've experienced my father's death, and I've experienced the birth of my daughter. So I feel like my life is still transitioning throughout these different roles and life experiences. I think the impact that I ultimately would like to make is sounds very general, but it's really to alleviate suffering, and not just physical, but also holistically. And really, I think even now Macau has very established palliative care services. I feel through my encounters with patients and families, there's still work to do because people are still not openly talking about what they want, and people are still not openly talking about end-of-life issues. You know, when people always ask when is the best time to talk about death, there's no best time. Yeah, it's always good to just start the conversation, and then also it's a good way to gauge what is that person feeling about it.